When James Cameron set out to make The Abyss, he wasn't just crafting another sci-fi adventure. He was embarking on one of the most grueling productions in Hollywood history. By the time the film wrapped, it had left its mark on everyone involved, both physically and emotionally. The shoot was so intense that Ed Harris later said talking about it was like asking a soldier about Vietnam. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio? She stormed off set after a grueling take and refused to return until Cameron agreed to call it quits. And yes, there was an on-set brawl. But we'll get to that soon enough. Released in 1989, The Abyss follows an underwater oil drilling team enlisted by the U.S. Navy to investigate the mysterious sinking of a nuclear submarine in the Caribbean. Led by Virgil Bud Brigman, played by Ed Harris, and his estranged wife, Dr. Lindsay Brigman, portrayed by Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, the crew soon finds themselves in a high-stakes race against time, Soviet tensions, a rogue Navy SEAL, Michael Biehn, and an unknown intelligence lurking in the depths. As if the premise wasn't intense enough, Cameron packed the film with escalating disasters, a hurricane, equipment malfunctions, and the ever-present threat of nuclear war. But the real drama? That was unfolding behind the scenes. James Cameron had been obsessed with the ocean for years. At just 17, he attended a science lecture about deep-sea diving and liquid breathing, an idea that would later become one of the film's most harrowing sequences. After the success of Aliens, Cameron decided The Abyss would be his next project, swapping out a team of scientists for a blue-collar crew to make the story more commercially viable. Hollywood was intrigued, and Cameron was given the green light, though no one realized just how brutal this production would be. With 40% of the film shot underwater, the cast and crew underwent intensive scuba training in the Cayman Islands. But nothing could fully prepare them for what was to come. Cameron, notorious for his perfectionism, demanded authenticity at every level. He insisted that scenes be shot in massive water tanks instead of using visual tricks like slow-motion filming and in smoke-filled sets. This led to the infamous decision to shoot at an abandoned nuclear power plant in Gaffney, South Carolina, where two massive tanks, one holding 7.5 million gallons of water, became the primary filming locations. The conditions were punishing. The water was heavily chlorinated, causing actors' hair to turn white and skin to burn. Cast and crew spent so much time submerged that they had to undergo decompression before surfacing. The shoot was so exhausting that Cameron reportedly fell asleep at night with his dinner plate still on his chest. And then there was the moment when Cameron himself nearly drowned after his oxygen ran low, and a safety diver mistakenly tried to hold him down. Only by punching the diver in the face was Cameron able to break free and reach the surface. For the actors, things weren't much better. Ed Harris was put through the ringer, with one of the most terrifying moments being the liquid breathing scene. While real oxygenated fluorocarbon fluid was used in the rat experiment shown in the film, Harris himself wasn't so lucky. He had to hold his breath while submerged in pink-tinted water, towed through a tank in complete darkness. Harris later recalled breaking into tears on the drive home, overwhelmed by the physical and mental toll. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio had her own breaking point. During the intense resuscitation scene where Bud desperately tries to revive Lindsay, Cameron demanded so many takes that Mastrantonio, soaking wet and physically exhausted, snapped. When the camera ran out of film mid-take, she stormed off, yelling, "We are not animals." And then there was the infamous on-set brawl. Michael Biehn, who played the increasingly unstable Lieutenant Coffey, was no stranger to working under Cameron's demanding direction, having starred in The Terminator and Aliens. But even he was pushed to his limits. Frustrated by the endless waiting and grueling conditions, tensions boiled over. The cast and crew were already on edge, and at one point, emotions exploded into an all-out fight. Though reports vary on the specifics, it was clear that tempers had reached a breaking point. Yet despite all the behind-the-scenes turmoil, The Abyss remains one of Cameron's most visually stunning and emotionally gripping films. It was one of the first movies to use CGI in a major way, with industrial light and magic creating the groundbreaking water tentacle sequence. This same technology would later be used for the T-1000 in Terminator 2: Judgment Day. But when The Abyss was finally released in August 1989, it didn't exactly set the box office on fire. With a budget of around $70 million, it only grossed $90 million worldwide. The film did, however, win an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects and gained a dedicated following over the years, particularly with the release of the extended special edition, which restored crucial scenes and reinforced the film's anti-war themes. Cameron's perfectionism didn't stop with just the visuals. His storytelling was equally meticulous. He originally envisioned The Abyss as a much longer film, exploring themes of nuclear war and human self-destruction. The special edition, released years later, added 28 minutes of footage, including a jaw-dropping sequence where the aliens threaten Earth with massive tidal waves before ultimately sparing humanity. This edition helped clarify the film's deeper message, transforming it from just a sci-fi thriller into something grander, an allegory about our own self-destructive nature and the power of compassion. Even with its troubled production, The Abyss remains a testament to Cameron's relentless drive to push boundaries. It paved the way for the technological innovations that would later define Titanic and Avatar, proving that he was always willing to go to extreme lengths to bring his vision to life. The film may not have been an instant blockbuster, but it has endured as a cult classic, admired by cinephiles and filmmakers alike. James Cameron would go on to create even more ambitious projects, but he has always maintained that The Abyss was his toughest shoot. The cast? Well, Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio still refuse to talk about it, and perhaps that says more than anything else. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a job so grueling that it left a lasting mark? What's your favorite James Cameron film? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the toughest productions in Hollywood history.